Okay.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna open the meeting at 7:07.
07.
All right, and Dr. Malakar?
Okay, just a couple of things on the agenda this month. Upcoming November PD, which is November 3rd and 4th, Monday and Tuesday. Students are off, teachers are here. On Monday, teachers will do 3 different sessions. They'll have learning teams. We're going to do one on tech because we've added some features to Infinite Campus. We want to get them started using Magic School more, which we have invested in. And what was the other thing that they're going to talk about? Magic School. I see. Oh, and School Links. So we're going to start
School what?
School Links,
Oh, School.
which is really a 6-12 program. So we'll do something small. Stacy Lucas has been kind of heading up the new programs
Okay,
and working with teachers and stuff like that. So she's going to lead that session with John Renwick, our
Okay.
tech director. And then we're going to do a legal update for teachers. We feel like there's been a lot of things that have come out. We're going to talk to, actually Dan is going to do it for us. So he's
oh,
going to come
that's
in
good. Yeah,
and do an update. So they'll run through 3 sessions on Monday, and then Tuesday they will work in what we're calling their learning teams. And we will get them all organized on Monday, and Tuesday each team has a lead that we've trained, a teacher, and they will begin working on specifically what they want to get better at in personalized learning. So they're going to pick something, they're going to commit to some goals, and they're going to work on that throughout the year with a showcase at the end of the year.
okay. And then what happens with, for example, the special ed staff? Do they kind of connect with the team they're working with, or do they meet on their own?
Most meet in the same sessions that
Okay.
we have already established. Their learning teams are
Okay.
different and they're part
All
of their
right.
own for that.
So they just align with them. All right, and then what about the specialists and other people?
So all of the classroom teachers, like our specials teachers and elective teachers, are in a learning team. We did create some specific learning teams, like we have the multiple disabilities teachers are all together. We have
Preschool.
speech all together. We have preschool all together. We have OT and title. So because they have some specific things that
Right.
we want, and the personalized learning isn't as
Yeah, for them.
integral to them, so they're gonna do some different things.
Okay.
We're meeting with those leads tomorrow to develop what they're gonna do with their teams.
Okay, so they each have a lead as
Yep.
well?
Mhm.
Okay, good. All right, thank you.
Yep, and I'm actually really excited. This is gonna be very personalized. Teachers are really gonna start where they're at and commit to growing in some area of personalized learning. Instead of just continuing to talk at them and push information out, we're gonna give them the time to do the work, which is what we've
Yeah,
heard from them.
That's a
last
good
year.
idea. And as far as when they meet with their learning teams, are they, like, in other words, getting into their new curriculums and talking about?
So that
Things
is,
like
that's
that.
actually a really good question. There are, on Monday, when we do the sessions, we have the last round of CPM, the last day of CPM training and a benchmark training. So we do, for those programs, they're getting their last day of full-on training.
Okay.
When they go with their learning teams, they'll be picking something within personalized learning,
Okay.
but working within the programs that they have.
Okay,
Okay?
all right, sounds good. All right, thank you.
Yep.
Well, and I know Mrs. Lucas was just I was with her in
Oh,
AI
that's right.
Summit. And so she's got some really great things to put into that Magic School and the AI
Oh, good.
updates, and to really enhance what teachers are doing and make sure that it's, relevant. And I think it's gonna be great for everyone, and it's timely and.
Right. Okay, well, that's good. Yeah, because we just got on board with Magic School last year.
Yes, and we're making, and she's very interested in it and uses AI a lot, so she's a great teacher to lead
Okay.
that effort, and because she's always playing around with it and always wants to show people what she's learning, you know what I mean? So
Right.
it's a really good fit. She's doing a
Good.
great job.
Fantastic.
Okay, I just wanted to kind of review that we are very focused in our TBT, which is our teacher-based teams and our PLCs, which are our weekly meetings that teachers have. Sometimes it's with, depending on the week, sometimes they meet with their subject area, sometimes they meet with their department at the high school, sometimes at the elementaries, they're meeting with the whole grade level, sometimes they meet just within their building team. But they do have a calendar that they're following where we have specific times that they're looking at data, whether it be map data, whether it be the benchmark data, which they are just giving the benchmark assessments through the state system right now, reviewing that.
Okay.
So we really have become very focused this year and intentional. And it's not every week that they're doing it. So some weeks, you know what I mean, they're going back, they're doing, sometimes Abby's doing a wit and wisdom touch base. And so, you know, maybe once every month or 6 weeks, Abby's leading. Aaron and Laura are doing some behavior things to follow up on stuff that we've done last year. So trying to reinforce things that we've already done and keep them focused on the data and moving forward. So they'll have protocols that they need to fill out and turn those into administrators, and we'll be reviewing those as an admin team.
Okay, so the coaches, you know, can jump in there, but it's not always led by coaches.
Correct.
Okay.
That's absolutely right. Trying to get the teachers to, it should be teacher driven. And there's just, you know what I mean?
Right.
If you think about how we're structured, especially elementary, when you have 6 grade levels, you know what I mean, 2 major subject areas, we can't cover them all.
Right.
Now, between administrators and coaches, they pop in to meetings, do you know what I mean?
Right.
Especially if they're virtual, if they're whole grade. If they're building meetings, then principals are circulating throughout the building.
Okay, and then, as far as the, let me see, when the building teams meet, are they, you said they delve into the data, but is it like they have map results now, but you said they have,
They have mapped, they have the dashboards, so Katie, like
dashboard
the
that you
dashboards
showed
we-
us the other
yeah,
day.
She's working with those, especially the tested subjects,
Right.
with how to use the dashboard.
Okay.
They have all of the data in the state testing software.
Okay.
That we've done benchmark assessments, so we
Okay,
can do that.
do we have the, what was done in the fall, is it reading for,
Oh, we don't have it.
We do not have
yeah.
those back.
They haven't even, they might
The
be
window's
testing
not
this
even
week.
closed.
yeah, they're still finishing
Yeah,
the
they
window
might, yeah,
and then
I
they'll
think
get
they're
it.
actually, I think they are testing this week. I think
Right.
it starts Tuesday or Wednesday. So they'll
Okay.
have that information
Okay.
probably by mid-November, end of
Reading
November.
mid-November.
One thing that we have done though is try to focus and let the teachers know what data they should be looking at a
Mhm.
specific meeting. Because I think sometimes it gets overwhelming. I mean, I'll say even from my perspective, when you're talking about MAP and benchmark and prior OST and the dashboard. So we're being very intentional when they sit down at specific meetings. This is the data that we're gonna look at. We just gave the MAP test, we're gonna look at this. We just gave the benchmark, we're gonna look at this. Here's how the dashboard supports using, you know, any of those things, so.
And the dashboard, that's primarily, you said the,
So ESC NEO is the one
ESC.
who focus.
right. I like the fact that there were some, you know, sample questions, things like that, could get used to
It's every
vocabulary.
released question that's
Yeah.
that's ever been released. It is an amazing tool for them.
Right, yeah, because if kids are familiar with what's being asked, that's half the battle.
So
Yeah.
between that and then the statewide benchmarks in the actual assessment system, so they're
Okay.
practicing in the, especially for math. I mean,
Mhm.
just to explain an equation to the math system that's a skill in itself.
Mhm. Oh, for sure.
So they're getting the practice using the checkpoints in the benchmark assessments. And they're actually, some of our teachers are authoring their own, so they're looking at the questions and kind of
Right.
tied to it and putting it in there. They're spreading out diversifying.
Okay, good. All right, sounds great.
I did just want to give a LifeWise update. They will be starting that program at Buckeye in 3rd grade. So that'll be our pilot grade level. It might be starting this week or next week, so I'm not quite sure how much response they've gotten with the idea that we'll start to scale it up like Mr. Hack said in January. So.
Okay, so parent permission was,
So yes, it does require parent permission, however, I don't send anything home, so that, I think they were working on how they do that.
Okay.
That's the thing, I don't know how they're
We're,
advertising.
some of the advertising has to go through, and typically for the other clubs that we have, like Fellowship of Christian Athletes, Good News Club, those go through local churches,
okay,
and the churches put them in bulletins. I'm not sure if they did that for like
Right.
where he is with that. I actually saw him Friday and didn't ask him.
Yeah.
He did mention it's a lot more work than he thought.
Oh, yes, for sure.
Yeah, to start a
He
program
did,
from the ground up.
yeah, he did say this is a lot more work than I go, yeah,
Yeah.
I figured it would be.
Uh-huh.
And at our end, I know we said we would provide lunches if needed,
Mhm.
and that, you know, obviously someone's going to make sure some kiddo doesn't go that isn't supposed
So
to.
we're required to provide lunches when needed. We're required to make sure that that the students who are signed up are the only students who leave.
Okay,
It is on LifeWise if the student doesn't want to go,
Yeah.
to contact the parent to say, hey, we didn't take your student.
okay, all right, sounds good. All right, and then cursive writing.
Yes, so you had asked that we put that on there. I don't know if you want to talk about what your concerns are.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna pass this around, and this is not a typical example that kids would come across. But, you know, I mean, I work at the clerk of courts, and, you know, this is obviously from 1858, when people used to draw practically. It was an art form to do cursive writing. But we have a lot of people who inquire about their family history, they're looking at different things, but sometimes it could be as simple as you're getting a birthday card or something and someone wrote cursive and can you even read it? But you know, certainly being able to sign your, you know, to do the signature, to be able to read some simple cursive, and to be a little bit fluent in it. You indicated that in grade 2 is when they, you know, introduce cursive. So what does that look like? Is there a workbook?
Yes.
How often do they do it? So I need to hear.
There is a workbook. I
Yeah.
don't know, I would imagine each teacher incorporates the workbook as they can into their daily schedule, whether it's daily or weekly.
Mhm.
So I can't speak to how every second grade teacher is incorporating it, but they do work through the workbook.
Yeah.
And then I would say at the upper grades, they maybe come back to it once in a while, but once we teach it in second grade, there's just not a lot of time.
Yeah, and I get that. You know, sometimes it's a matter of if they're introduced to it, they know how to do it, whether there are assignments even in third grade where there could be a requirement, like even if it's just writing, you know, during bell work, that a sentence, so they're familiar and it gets ingrained. If you don't, like you said, if you don't use it, you lose it. So, doesn't mean that a third grader would ever be able, like if they're not using it at all, if they learned it in second grade, they're probably not going to be able to do much with it. But I feel like there's one shot for schools to be able to at least have kids be able to read it or to write.
Well, I have to be
Something.
honest, I am well versed in cursive and I
Yeah,
can
I know.
hardly read this.
Well, and that's
So,
from
and I would take,
1858.
yes.
I agree.
1858, here, take a look at it.
Yeah.
We've evolved since then.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
and we're
That's
gonna
like, that
continue
was
to
an art
evolve.
form then,
So-
no doubt.
You know,
But
and-
what I'm saying is that I've had conversations with parents that'll bring it up. And the most recent one was a grandparent from Parkside who brought it up. And that neither of her granddaughters can read, can't write their name in cursive, can't do any of that. And so that's why I asked the question. But I guess I would like to know, and it doesn't have to be determined today, you know, could I see a sample of the workbook, and could we at least gauge how it's being taught as second grade? And what are the expectations at the end of the year? And what, you know, is there a possibility of continue to do a small little bit, even if it's not you're actually instructing cursive writing, but you're asking an assignment in third grade that, okay, now this paragraph has to be in cursive, just so they use it from time to time and they become more familiar with it. But, you know, I also wondered, and I don't know how you get this information, but, you know, other school districts, what are they doing? Is this something that's a practice? like we're doing it in second grade. I remember, at West G, we did second semester, second grade, because first semester, just developmentally, kids weren't really ready, but they seemed very excited, that half
It's
year
a big
mark.
kid thing
Yeah,
to do,
it's
is
a
to
big
write
kid
cursive.
thing,
Yeah.
and, I remember going into the classroom, writing something in cursive, and, they were so excited they were gonna be learning it. So I just want to make sure we're checking that box and doing our part.
And I'm assuming you only are thinking this through 5th grade, correct? We're not practicing cursive 6 through 12, is that correct?
No, I think really, what I saw is that starting in 4th grade, they had a choice, they could do whatever they wanted. And it was interesting, you'd see a mix.
Yeah, most people, I think, even now do a hybrid.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
right.
It's not all cursive, but it's not all
Exactly.
printing.
But if they had to read it, or they could sign their name, or whatever, I just want to take a look at that.
Okay.
So, but if you could get that information maybe for next time, or, if I see you and you have a copy, I
Okay.
can do it. I didn't know what series they're using,
Zaner Bloser.
Zaner Bloser.
Mhm. Yep, and I'll get you a workbook, and then I'll poke around a little bit and see what they're doing with regards to teaching it in 2nd
Okay.
grade. It might be a second semester.
Yeah,
It
second
might be.
semester sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what about, I know with OT and that, do they ever use Handwriting Without Tears or any other program, or are they just using Zaner Bloser? I don't know. If you could
I
find out.
honestly, yes. I
Yeah,
think
only
that-
because I
yes.
know that even some of our kids that would come in that never had it, in order to catch up, that was an easy program, that if parents wanted to continue it over the summer, it was available. And I think they had an online component that you could copy off the worksheet, so you're not buying a workbook. But it's just something I want to
I'll look into that.
explore. Okay. All right, so special ed updates?
Just,
Or you got
Lori
one
finally texted me back, she had no power and water in her basement this morning, so she just saw my text now, so she has other things on the horizon that are going on, yeah, and Leroy.
That's okay, at least we know
Yeah.
where she is.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly,
Yeah.
so all is well, but she, is caught
Okay,
up with,
that's okay.
with other things, so.
That's all right. All right.
And then, Camille,
Yes.
I just always put the special ed updates
No,
on there.
this is
She and I
great.
didn't have a chance to talk, so
Yes.
whatever your updates might be, have at it,
I
my
have
friend.
three, kind of along the lines with what Melissa had brought up with TBTs. I just wanted to let everyone know that we just completed our first round of MTSS meetings
Okay.
at both elementary and middle school.
All right.
We looked at data through Branching Minds for math, for both ELA and for math. We're able to group our students and be able to assign interventions. So they'll start running those interventions and then progress monitoring. Those teams will meet again in December.
Okay.
How did those meetings go? Because I was.
I sat in at Buckeye and I was super impressed.
Good.
I think they're getting much more comfortable with Branching Minds. I was very impressed with our teachers.
Good.
They know our students very well. They knew what they needed, and I felt like the teams could work through
Phenomenal,
grouping
that's great.
appropriately, and a lot of teacher input in terms of what interventions they felt would be the best to start with.
Mhm.
I
Good.
thought it was very, very smooth.
And we did start this year, which historically we haven't. They put the kids in groups based on what we had at the end of last year. And so they've been doing interventions pretty much since the beginning of the year. So although this was our first MTSS official meeting, the kids have been getting an intervention since the beginning of the
Right.
year, which we historically have not been able to do because we haven't had a system that tracked and, you know what I mean, and got them the information. So Branching Minds is going to be huge in moving this process forward.
That's good. Now, for the benefit, can you explain Branching Minds? I know we purchased it.
Sure. So
Yeah.
Branching Minds is an online platform for us to put data into. So there's a lot of preloading prior to going into those meetings, so that
Okay.
everything is there for us to look at.
And
All the
share among.
the intervention is in there. They use the decision-making tree in order to, identify what those appropriate interventions will be, what materials will be utilized.
Okay.
And then the progress monitoring sheets are in there as well. in one place for teachers to access and be able to
Right.
implement and use, easily.
Okay, good. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I knew
Good
we
question.
had purchased that. All right, but I knew it was a platform, but now I understand a little more about
Sure.
it.
No problem.
Okay, sounds good.
Just a little bit about preschool. They're in the process of doing their early learning assessment. That assessment window will be closing November 14th. They also Julie Weber informed me that they did receive the Creative Curriculum Gold Assessment, online assessment through the state. That was provided at no cost to us, which will really help to enhance our data collection and their ability to progress monitor, as well as to then, instructionally plan appropriately for students in preschool. So that was exciting to hear. That is our current curriculum.
Okay, so are they doing, I know at the beginning of the year, usually with preschool, you do a lot of screening and vision,
Sure.
hearing, all that kind of stuff.
Sure, yes.
But then does speech go in and do any kind of,
I know, I'm just learning. all
Yeah, I
the
know,
ins and
I
outs,
know.
yes. So I know that we do screenings in kindergarten. I am not sure if we.
Hearing and vision?
I know we do hearing and vision for everyone.
Yeah,
That's
hearing and
required.
Oh, you mean
required.
speech?
But not,
yeah.
not sure.
I just
I don't
didn't
think
know.
so.
No.
I don't think so.
Right.
Yeah, okay, because it was always a stretch to try to get that done.
Mhm.
I know when I was at Perry, but, through that, we started with kids who were real red flags, but
Sure.
then we kind of tried to do some type of screening, but we ended up, not always identifying, some were identified, but some received interventions, and it was very impactful of getting them where they needed to go, especially if they had not had any kind of preschool, other
Of
than
course.
even before preschool, any kind of, educational thing going on, whether it was going to the library or being read to, and some just needed that boost.
Sure.
So
I
it's
know
just
it's
something to
come-
look at, I don't know.
Sure. I have an upcoming meeting with them, so I will.
Okay,
ask.
so ask at
Um,
Perry.
I know that they push into classrooms all the time, and an intervention specialist is the lead, so I'm assuming that, we have pretty good eyes on all of our preschool
Mhm.
students, and if they see something,
Okay,
that they'll make sure that our students are getting what they need. But I will ask that question if that's a practice that we
Okay.
do for preschool.
and then as far as preschool, I had asked Dr. Rotino before the
Yes.
meeting started, so as far as any requirements, I know things have changed at the state. If there is any type of change in where we're serving our students, because I know we have all 4 units, and you were able to get 2 that moved okayed at Melbridge, because Melbridge was already serving preschool. But, if there are any changes going forward, or whenever that would be, what the process is, what we need to do.
Sure.
Just want to be informed as far as a timeline.
Of course.
Yeah, so,
Their licensing, Julie and I just met, and their licensing visit isn't due until March. But she, most likely during these professional development days, will be reviewing all of the current requirements for licensing and
Right.
ensure that they're ready for that visit.
all right. And then, I know you said that we were able to accommodate anyone who was on a wait list.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Mhm.
But, so there is no one hanging out there waiting to get in?
No.
Okay, all right, I just wondered. All right, because in the past, we
Yes.
had that. Okay, great. All right, and then, kind of related to that, the playground.
Playground, yes, we just approved the final colors for the equipment, so I think everything is moving forward. The only thing that was requested is that Melissa and I talked just about anything that we might be creating here within the district with our students to add to, what we were able to purchase for that new playground.
Okay, and would there be, just to keep in mind, whether, if they're building, let's say, 2 items, are these 2 items that could be used at other schools? And I'm thinking primarily Melridge and Buckeye. But I assume that we have quite a bit of equipment already at Parkside and Riverview for some kids, but adding programming down the road and trying to uncrowd the Riverview playground, having that primary playground.
So, yeah, so I'm not quite sure what you're talking about because I haven't been in the loop. Are we doing a separate playground at Riverview?
Yeah.
And now
Yes.
we're, okay, and we're looking, so that's where I'm thinking that you want the things built for the Riverview. Then we can always replicate them if we wanted, you know what I
Yes.
mean?
Right.
Like, if we wanted to. I'm thinking 2 structures, now that you have it laid out and you know what you're buying and the space,
Yes.
then you can talk, we can talk about what you would like the construction class to actually do.
And there may be an opportunity to get some materials donated. So I would just keep that in mind, but sometimes when they're in it and they're, you know, like in the planning stages and building it, you know, to build 2 or 3 is not as big a deal as trying to build 1 at a time.
Well, let's remember, I don't have a space to build anything right
Yeah, I
now.
know.
so-
I know,
So
but-
that's problematic. So building 1 is gonna be,
Yeah, I get it.
you know what I mean, is
I
gonna
get
be
it.
something.
And it could end up being a template and,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
because I
That's
know
what
they
I'm
did that
hoping.
Wheel of
Once, yeah.
Fortune thing.
Mhm.
It would be easy for them to go back
To
and do it
replicate.
because they
And we
worked
do
through
have
things.
actually some funds that were donated to us from Cleveland Construction
Oh,
that
okay.
we could use for material
Oh, good.
also. So,
That's great.
yeah, the materials I'm not concerned about because we can absolutely get our hands on some money for
That was
that.
a question.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
And then the other thing would be, I don't know if there's certain guidelines by, you know, the preschool people at the state,
Yes.
what's safe, what height, all those
Yes.
kind of things. I mean, you'd be
Yes.
most familiar with that because you had an extensive playground yourself.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
all right,
And then
sounds
just
great.
lastly,
Oh, what's the color scheme, just so I know?
So we did more the green and taupe, so more of those neutral
Oh, okay, good.
colors.
I like that.
Mhm.
Keep it neutral.
Mhm.
Okay,
Okay, and then just lastly, the Student Services Department has been working really hard. We're going to initiate, starting at the end of the month, our internal monitoring meetings. We're changing a little bit of what that process looks like from a district team to building level teams. That's in an effort to really provide and touch more staff and provide more professional development and guidance to help us to continue to be compliant in our procedures and our implementation of our programming.
that's a good idea.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
actually looking forward to it. I
Mhm.
think it's going to be a really good,
Okay.
positive change. It's been well received just from administrators that I've spoken to so far.
Okay, wonderful.
That's
And
all.
then when we did go over the test results at the board meeting, you know, I mean, we talked about, you
Yes.
know, efforts we're doing, which involve MTS and
Yes.
MTSS and things like that. But, you know, I'm sure you have your own thing going with some of that. Okay, all right, sounds great. So is there anything else?
That's it.
Okay, so our next meeting is November 14th at 7:30. Back to 7th.
Yes, Nick will be very happy.
Yes.
As will everyone else in the room, other than me, I think.
Yeah.
And maybe Patrizzi. He doesn't mind a 7 meeting.
Well, you have a longer drive, right?
The whole extra 3 minutes.
Oh.
He's
Okay,
usually here early.
all right. And then we have our board meeting this Thursday, and I'll do the report. All right, thank you.